Hi, good morning, Mr. Kerry. I'm Namal from Sri Lanka. I'm working as a consultant in sustainable farming system. I develop the farms in sustainable way and teach the people how to grow food organically. I studied in the university about agriculture and gathered some experience working in the field. I recently noticed about the concept of permaculture. I need to yet and have your experience about the permaculture principle.
No problem. How long have you and I known each other?
I think we know each other in the past 6 months.
And I'll introduce this way. This is Namal from Sri Lanka, and he's in sustainable agriculture. You've got to visit his site.
Powerplantsorganic.com. The fair trade organization is formed to work with your farmers. That meeting in the Saturday.
Right. So you and I are going to be educating people on sustainable ways of growing.
Eight people on sustainable farming.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for inviting me along. This will be a good journey. We need to be more sustainable. It's costly the way farming is happening now, and so Namal and I have been talking, and I've been introducing permaculture principles, of which I'll describe now, of what can be done in Sri Lanka to help the agricultural side of things along a little bit.
How can I incorporate your permaculture principle to sustainable farming system in here?
Right. Right. Sustainability, what are the other problems that farmers have?
Mainly the problem is the economical viable because our land scale is very small, so average is a quarter acre. They need to have continuous supply of food and continuous income, the sustainable income.
Right, so a quarter acre is about 1,000 square metres. It's a good size for permaculture. Let me give you my 2 bobs worth. Current modern farming is economically quite expensive because of a few main problems. Since the ending of a Second World War, modern agriculture is actually an extension of that. They had chemical companies making poisons, and they had huge machinery building, tanks and such things, which they've converted to tractors, and the chemical companies, who are all still manufacturing poisons for growing. So they changed agriculture. Modern agriculture actually uses systems of digging the ground, and then when you have a weed problem, they spray it with poison. When you have an insect problem, they spray it with poisons. And so what ends up happening is they encourage us to grow this way using these chemicals, which are very expensive. So it's not cost effective, and we're killing ourselves in the process and killing the environment. Permaculture is a little bit more sensitive to nature's needs, and it copies systems in nature. They've actually evolved from the most ecologically sustainable growing systems as far back and probably before as the Incas, where they had chinampas and they were feeding tens of thousands of people sustainably. And so permaculture has taken on the most sustainable growing systems that existed on the planet since then, observed them, improved them, and simplified them to be cost effective, time effective, environmentally sustainable and profitable. Now, how do we achieve this? I'll give you some on-the-ground examples. The problems you want to overcome are pests, weeds, and costs of chemicals, costs of seeds, for instance. Let me tell you, here in Greece, I'm an Australian Greek. I've moved to Greece with my family, and here I was expecting the food to taste like it tasted when I was young. It doesn't. They've lost their heritage. They're growing hybrid seeds, and hybrid is designed not to grow next year. It grows sterile, so you have an expense of buying hybrid. I thought here, I started a project which is on Kerry Cameraworks on Facebook, of heritage seed support, and it shows growing systems and setting up permaculture so you're more cost effective. And it works simply like this. You get heritage seeds that you don't have to buy next year, and they're the food that we evolved with. They're not hybridized, they're not genetically modified organisms, they're evolution's nature of what we grew up with. They taste best, and they grow extremely well in our climate because this is where they evolved. Second, to minimize weeds and pests, they're interrelated. They're basically the way you grow. If you grow by doing what everyone else does, dig the ground, expose it to the sun, and then plant your food, your crops grow beautifully the first year, because in that year all the microbiology in the soil dies. When it dies, your plants are fed with their body's nutrients, but then the soil becomes dirt and you have to fertilize. So now you're in the path of, how do I fertilize? I have to buy chemicals. So if you can avoid chemicals and if you can avoid weeds, it'll be better for you financially. You do it this way. If you must dig, and in permaculture we actually do landscape design the first year. We set up the garden so it harnesses all the water, all the sun, uses gravity, uses all the natural systems that are there without your effort. Once you've set it up, it does all this for you. Then you grow beds in curves, not straight lines, because insects love seeing things in straight lines. When they spot their favourite food, which is grown in a monoculture, all the one type of food, the insect comes, it spots it, sees straight lines, comes down on it, lands, becomes an insect problem. If your garden beds are in spirals, curves, we call them keyhole gardens, which is like the shape of a keyhole. Maximizes your growing space per square meter. It's also a raised garden, so you don't tread on it and you don't have weed problems, because weeds are designed to heal nature. When you dig the ground and leave it exposed, nature's been hurt, so the weeds come in to heal it. So you get rid of your pests by planting many different crops, not monocultures. You plant them in beds that are curved. You use the beds to harness the water. You then have different layers of growing. So you grow underground crops, tubers and carrots, onions, that kind of thing. Then you grow the ground covers, the ones that spread over. Then you grow the bushes, the low shrubs, small trees, medium trees, overstory trees. So it's like a forest. You're copying nature. With this growing system, then, like nature, you have little pest problems because they don't see their favourite food. So it's best to grow many crops. When you make your gardens as raised beds, you don't tread on them, you don't compress them, you don't have weed problems, because the ground doesn't need healing. If you grow a cover crop covers the ground immediately, and you put mulch down. So once you dig your mound, your raised garden bed, you put mulch on it, you grow a cover crop, and then you grow your main crop in amongst that. The cover crop on that stops the weeds coming through. The cover crop should be nitrogen fixing plants, beans, peas, potatoes, that kind of thing, that are green fertilizers. So just by growing them, chopping them, dropping them on the surface, you create a new mulch layer, protecting the microbiology from the sun. You create a cover crop that fertilizes, which protects the biology in the soil, and then you grow your plants that are fixed with nitrogen, meaning they are fertilized naturally, so you don't have to buy chemical fertilizers. I've showed this on my videos. If there's any more information on that you need, call me up and I'll be happy to talk further about it. Was that too much, Namal, in one hit? It's all tied in. It's all related because you can't talk about one thing without the other thing. But it's fairly simple. If you must dig, you cover. Put ground covers as in mulch, and grow multi-crops, and you eliminate most weed and pest problems. For everybody else that's watching this, Namal and I have been talking a fair bit, and the systems you're using are very good, Namal. You know, they're ecologically brilliant systems, so you've got no problems. But just when you add permaculture into the element, you're taking it another level further, whereas you let nature do the work for you. So you tie everything into everything else through design. So what you're doing now is by grass cutting, making your beds and covering those with the grass clippings, that's nutrient, that's ground cover, that's mulch, it's all really good systems. Well done.